Inflation. It's become a big shock. And recently, here in Australia, we've got the headline inflation rate of 5.1%, as mentioned by the Australian Bureau of Statistics. And the RBA has responded with a 0.25% interest rate hike on the cash rate, bringing it up to 0.35%. So how's this going to affect you? And what are the overall implications for inflation? Are you fearing that you may have to lift your prices? And if you do lift your prices, how is that going to affect your customer base? Those questions we're going to answer today in today's episode. This is David Newton speaking. Let's dive straight into it. You're in business, doing what you love to do and serving your customers and enjoying it. However, you don't want to do that at the expense of running your business at a break-even point or even at a loss for that matter as a result of it. And here's the rub. What a lot of business owners do find hard to do when prices rise, input costs go up, is they find it hard to lift their prices to meet those particular costs and demands. And I'll admit it isn't an easy thing to do, and as not as easy as what some of the experts might claim it to be. So, some of those things are probably on your mind right now. Let's look at what the inflation rate is typically right now. Typically, you've got a situation where even though the headline rate is around the 5.1% as quoted by the ABS, however, the inflation in terms of what's affecting business owners right now could actually be much, much higher. It could be 7%, it could be 12%. Heck, maybe it even is in 20% or 30% on some particular items. Not to mention, there's a parts shortage for a lot of different items. The building trade certainly is affected by that. And numerous other different industries are suffering logistics problems just trying to get their goods into the country or parts into the country. In addition to that as well, there's a candidate shortage, which means that even if you're looking to get staff in, you may not get the staff that are trained in a particular way or staff that are available that are used to doing the particular type of work that you're wanting to do, or they're not even available in this particular season. So these are the pressures that are currently upon business owners at the moment, just to paint a picture of the scene as we see it right now. Look, what I see as being a big challenge for business owners typically is this. Business owners usually are being told, well, lift your prices. An expert or a consultant or even a business coach might say, that's what you have to do. You have to lift your prices. And we often get this kind of advice, typically, even if there's not an inflationary pressure out there. But it may not be as simple as doing just that. Let me give you a for instance of what you could potentially do. I had previously co-managed a cafe along with a friend of mine a number of years ago, and I had been in the cafe trade twice. And we were faced likewise with quite a few price rises at the time, and we had to do something about it. Yes, we did know that this would have a pressure upon our clients, and they were price sensitive. We simply didn't have the luxury of being a lone cafe out on the street where we were. There were, in fact, quite a number of cafes that were within 1 or 2 blocks, or even several within the nearby corners, like we were, of the suburb that we're in an industrial, or shall I say, a more office-type industrial suburb that we were located in. Now, the point that I'm trying to make here is that, yes, the advice was we do need to lift our prices. We did actually have the good fortune at that time of having a particular lady who had prior experience, and she suggested to us a few different ways how we could achieve this while still retaining our customer base at the time. So what we did is we did a staged lift of several of the prices, like say for example coffees and some of the desserts and a few of the different menu items on our lunch menu, which absolutely positively definitely needed to go up. Our rent had gone up by around about 20% in the area, which was probably not uncommon at the time due to, once again, a tremendous shortage of retail space in that particular area. So what we did do is we coordinated a particular different way of doing it. We repackaged the coffees and so forth into some food and drink packages, and we gradually released this over a period of time. We did signal to our customer base by way of signage around the cafe that prices were going to go up within another 2 to 3 weeks, just to let them know of what was on a board. And as a result of doing that signage and so forth, I'd also produced some handbills, which I was going to hand out to people at the nearby corners where the traffic lights were, where workers were walking all their way up from the main railway station in the city to come to our particular suburb, and handing out brochures about our cafe and some of our special food and drink offers at the time. Now, this did actually have a fairly large impact. I believe that the price rises that we had to institute, although they were dramatic, they weren't necessarily out of line with what was available in the area, and fortunately we survived that particular incident. But I will say this much: it's the mindset that's going on in the mind of not only what went in our minds at the time for lifting our price rises, but those of also the other people in the area. And I've also been similarly in other different industries where I've had to lift my prices accordingly, because your prices will protect you with what you're doing and allow your business to succeed in the future. And here's a couple of points that I do say is worthwhile if you're going to need to lift your prices to beat an inflation shock. And that is, 1, work on your different marketing channels so that when you do lift your prices, and you do have to lift your prices accordingly, you've got new channels of people coming into your business that haven't seen that particular price that you had before and will pay for whatever the price is for the goods or services that you've got. So it's important to work upon having new inflows of people into your business. So up your marketing is one of my big suggestions. And number 2, work out how you can repackage and also advise your customer base at the moment by email or otherwise to let them know what's ahead. Don't just simply put a price rise and do that simply out of the blue. That will probably have the worst impact. Do this over a period of time. Warn people in advance. Hey, look, price rise coming July the 1st, blah, blah, blah. This is what we're going to do. We can no longer do this. We haven't had a price rise in 5 years, or et cetera, et cetera. So outline to them what the current situation is and where you're going. Take them along with you. Now, yes, naturally, you might lose maybe 5 or 10% of people there because they can't stomach the increase in prices. However, the large body of them will follow you through because they realise that, hey, you've got to stay in business too, so they are likely to support you as a direct result of that. Warning, this may not always work in every case, but you do have to take the gutsy step of lifting your price, and to do so in a staged and planned manner rather than just simply an ad hoc manner and hoping for the best. That's what I suggest, and I believe that you will have a good result with trying this particular method. Now, if you like this particular episode, and I sure hope you do like our videos, we do have new videos like this appearing all the time, and have a look at these videos that I suggest you to look at to help improve your business right now, because we've got quite a lot of different exciting items that we're posting up now and over the next few weeks. This is David Newton speaking.